Welcome to the Boxing Talk Show.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee.
I'm Joe Cortez.
And co-host John Zamel for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.
Welcome to the Fair but Firm Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. This past Saturday, great boxing for the Staples Center in L.A., California. Fight of the year. I would consider it fight of the year. I think it was one of the better ones that we've seen so far.
Absolutely in the conversation.
I can tell you that it was a fight that the fans wanted to see for a long time. Two of the best welterweights out there, Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence Jr. Now, Errol Spence Jr. came out and showed what he had. Shawn Porter didn't get any confetti in his corner this weekend, but he really tried hard, and a lot of people felt that he pulled the fight out on the split decision. And I think I personally thought he pulled that out by a split, even though he was knocked down in the 11th round. But I think that, Shawn Porter came out to ambush his enemy, Errol Spence Jr., and it didn't quite work, at least on the score of the judges. And I think that Bob Arum should now start marinating the welterweight division, especially with his fighter, Terrance Crawford Jr., to see what we could do if he could fight Errol Spence Jr., let's not forget about Manny Pacquiao, who's also in the mix.
He's got a belt, man.
Yeah,
he's not just in the mix. He's one of the four champs.
Yeah, he's one of the four champs.
Or one of the three champs. So got one of the four belts.
They're going to have to eventually end up fighting Manny Pacquiao, much as they may not want to or want to, because that's where the money's at.
That's where the money's at. They all want to fight Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, especially a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He's dangerous, but he's, you can get the most payday plus a belt.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. really gave it all they had.
My goodness.
I mean, they really had a lot of energy,
It was just, that was what they call Mexican style. That was as amazing of a fight, as excellent of a trading blows. Now, this is one of my favorite things. It always cracks me up because when everybody talks about Shawn Porter, they say, well, he's not a fan favorite because he doesn't fight pretty. He doesn't look good. And then they say other people don't really want to fight him because no one comes out of a fight looking good after they fight Shawn Porter. And I think both those things are true. But at the same time, even though he doesn't look good and his opponent doesn't look good, for some reason, bout after bout after bout, we have these classic clashes that are just, absolutely incredible. He reminds me a lot of Timothy Bradley, where when Timothy Bradley fought Provorov or Pacquiao or any of these other guys, the way that he's able to smother you with pressure and exhaust you with just constant blows all day long. You don't know what landed, you don't know what didn't, but all you know is that pressure is coming, and it's coming hard. He makes just epic bouts, and I've always been a fan. I'm always going to be a fan. Every time he fights somebody, especially at the next level, he's had, just I don't know how you consider anything other than just an epic clash of titans, and that's what you had here. And Spence looked incredible as well. He did exactly. At the end of the day, this is what I've been saying is going to happen. Every show since we've been talking about that is that Porter would be coming with all this pressure, and he would, he wouldn't look good, and the Spence wouldn't look great, but the Spence would do just enough to get it done. Even though exactly what I've been saying happened, it still was surprising how entertaining it was throughout the entire fight. Did anything surprise you about this fight, Joe?
I can tell you, John, being in these kind of wars myself as a referee, I can tell you that this was a fight that, I was kind of surprised at the energy they both had. They both came with They both ended up with a full tank. They were.
I thought they were going to gas around 8 or 9 when I saw the beginning rounds.
No, but they were really going quick at the real fast pace. And Shawn Porter is a high energy type fighter,
yes,
he really kept the pace going to the 12th round. He was in there, even though he got dropped in the 11th round with a short left hook, which was one of Errol Spence's.
That was a perfect punch.
It was a perfect left hook. It reminded me of a Sugar Ray Robinson type of punch.
Tight one.
He was short, but I noticed that he pulled his head down a little bit. He let it go.
He positioned it. Bam.
He positioned it, then let it go.
Put his own head on the platter.
Yeah. If you watch that on the replay, you'll see where he held Shawn Porter's head down a little bit, and then he held it there. Then he let it go, and then he hit him.
Bam.
It was
teed it up and then knocked it out.
It was something that you have to look at it real close. I would have kind of like, hey, watch holding the head, because that was a punch that really hurt Porter and may surprise him, surprise the whole world. We didn't think that Porter was going to go down so late in the fight.
Let's talk about that titanium chin that he had. The guy took a shot that would have put almost anybody down.
Yeah.
Almost anybody. And he barely touched his glove to the canvas. His eyes rolled in the back of his head, and he never even fell down. He's just absolutely unbelievable. What an absolute titan and a warrior. I can't say enough about Shawn Porter. I also can't say enough about Errol Spence. He proved that he is as good as we've been saying he is. it was absolutely incredible.
You know, the welterweight division now is really heating up a lot more than it was in previous years for the simple reason that now it's really getting down to the best. And right now it's Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. Those are the two guys that
Terrance
are there.
Crawford.
And Terrance Crawford. Those three guys, right, we're narrowing down. So in 2020, I'm sure we're going to get one of those fights together. They're going to be a great year.
I want to keep talking about the fight, but we're going to go big picture and then back to the fight, big picture. Who's the best welterweight in the world right now?
Well, right now, you got to go Errol Spence Jr. and you got to go with Terrance Crawford. And
who's better?
You know, I don't know. It's like a toss-up. You could throw
100%.
You could throw Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence Jr., Terrance Crawford up, and whoever lands first is the best one.
Is it fair to say that Errol Spence Jr. is the best welterweight, but that Terrance Crawford is ranked higher pound for pound because of the accomplishments he's had and just the eye test and everything else?
You know,
is that fair to say, or is that silly?
No, it's fair to say because I mean anybody out there can argue. You know, either one of these three fighters, Pacquiao, Spence, and Crawford, they're the best out there. I mean, it's hard to say was Pacquiao great. I mean, Pacquiao did beat
Keith
Thurman, who was pound for pound the best. Now what happened? He's out of the picture temporarily, and then you got Terrance Crawford. You know,
Terrance Crawford's awesome, but he hasn't really fought anyone at welterweight yet. I mean, he unified the junior welterweight division. The guy's, I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But is he the best welterweight right now? I think Errol Spence is the best welterweight right now because he's got 2 belts.
You know, Mikey Garcia came from a unified champion, 3 different divisions. He was the best out there. He fought Errol Spence Jr. And regardless of what he accomplished in the past, at 135, he couldn't make it at 140.
That's an excellent point.
He couldn't make it at 147. I say the same thing applies to Terrance Crawford. He did a lot of accomplishment, unified world title at 140.
I mean, he completely unified it, to be fair. He had all 4 belts, which is
good. That's good. But can he do it with the welterweight division?
We don't know yet. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he does have a belt, but he beat Jeff Horn to get it. A fight that you were the unofficial scorekeeper in.
Yeah, but
Jeff Horn isn't.
I don't think that Terrance Crawford yet has proven himself to be best. Right? Just for that simple reason alone, I got to go either Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence Jr. Those are the top 2 out there. So
welterweight-wise.
Yeah, welterweight, yeah. So I would say, let Terrance Crawford fight Spence.
Please.
And the winner of that, fight Pacquiao. Simple as that.
I think, yeah. I think.
I think Bob Arum can start marinating that fight, get it ready, and happen in 2020. And by the end of 2020, put Manny Pacquiao and the winner of Crawford and Spence.
Well, the problem is PBC has all these fighters in the welterweight division. They could set Spence up with Danny Garcia in the next fight, make a ton of money. That's a good fight. That's another great showing for him. And Danny Garcia is probably a top 5 welterweight still.
Yeah,
he's up there. They could throw Keith Thurman at Spence. Yeah. They could throw Pacquiao at Spence.
I mean, Danny Garcia jumped into the ring Saturday night. He was in it because he wanted to, showcase himself to show, I want to be in the mix.
Danny Garcia is still in the mix. I mean, he's still phenomenal.
But he want to let the world know, I'm here. Look at me. I'm in the ring with this guy. I'm here for a reason.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why Heyman's trying to set up that fight next, and I don't blame him. It's not a bad fight. I think Pacquiao probably wants to defend his title one time before he goes back in the ring with, to have to try and unify.
Yeah, but I think Manny Pacquiao doesn't have to prove anything to anybody else anymore.
He doesn't have to prove anything.
Other than unifying all the belts.
If he does that, he's the greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time.
If Manny Pacquiao unifies all 4 belts, he's the greatest of all time.
Exactly. I would definitely. There's no question about
it.
Right? Yeah.
At 40 years old?
That will put in.
If he beats Spencer Crawford and takes all the belts, he's the greatest ever.
He beat Spence and Crawford. Yeah, come on, who else? How can you say?
He's the greatest ever.
He's the greatest ever. It's right. I mean, a lot of people say he's the greatest ever already.
He is. He's in the conversation.
But capturing 8 world titles in 8 different divisions.
And winning the WBA welterweight title against an undefeated Keith Thurman at 40 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
how much more proof do you need?
I mean,
But like I said, he'd be undisputed.
These guys are doing it. I can do it too.
You coming back?
I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back at maybe 155.
154?
154.
Yeah? Who you calling out?
I don't know.
Jared Hurd.
I call up, let me see, somebody who's not alive anymore. Come back from
Ray
the dead.
Mancini can come back. You fight him.
Oh my God,
like a legend.
Yeah, man. I think they beat these champions of all times. That, I mean, I would look at the cemetery. I see the fence around the cemetery. You know why they got the fence around the cemetery?
What's up?
People are trying to get in. I'm trying to get one of the guys to come out and fight me, man.
Trying to get in. That's a good joke.
My God. That. But I can tell you one thing, that Saturday night was a hell of a night of boxing. Then let's talk about the undercard. You had Anthony Dirrell fighting I mean, this undefeated David Benavidez,
He got his belt back,
22
baby.
years old. I mean, he got stripped last year, September of last year, 2018, for testing positive for cocaine, and he got a little slap on the wrist for a while there.
He got his belt taken away, more than a slap on the wrist, but I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, then they stripped him permanently.
No.
He was not banned for years, so it was a slap on the wrist. He got the belt taken away. You're a bad boy. I'm going to spank you with this belt, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it from you, but I'll give it back to you.
So he's a two-time WBC 168-pound champion. Same belt twice in a row. I love that he came back for his same belt. He didn't try and go after the other belts.
But, you know, he learned from his mistake. And I'm glad he made back. I believe he gave everybody a second chance. He got it back. And you know what? He stands to be one of the better ones out there for many years to come. He's only 22 years young.
That's my question, yeah.
You know? He's only 22.
Where does he rank in the super middleweight division to you? Let's remember we have Callum Smith up there.
Callum Smith.
Caleb Plant. We got Billy Joe Saunders. We have Canelo Alvarez, I guess technically, but his only showcase was against Rocky Fielding, so you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And then you have David Benavidez.
Well, I can tell you one thing. You know, now you got Canelo Alvarez fighting Kovalev.
We'll talk about that in a little,
in November 2nd here in Las Vegas. Now he beats Kovalev. That's it. He goes back down to 168. Let it fight Caleb Plant. See, Caleb
says he wants to defend a 160 belt after 175. He says he wants to go back to 160.
Yeah.
I think that's unwise. I don't think you should ever go back down there.
He was to be like a Henry Armstrong, the
what
fighter.
What are you doing, bro?
Henry Armstrong was a featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight champion.
Same time.
Simultaneously, and he would fluctuate from featherweight to welterweight, back down to featherweight, lightweight. That was back in the 50s. But, I mean, back then, you could do that. Now you win a title, and you give up. You got to give up your other belts. But this guy, Henry Armstrong, that's what Canelo Alvarez sounds like to me. He looks like that kind of a fighter. Wants to fluctuate different weight classes. You know, you got to end up giving one, stay with one class.
Did you see the face-off, the press conference with him and Kovalev?
No, I didn't.
Kovalev looks about a foot taller than him.
Yeah.
He goes up to Kovalev's shoulder.
You know, I was talking to his brother. We were in Toronto this past weekend. His brother, Rigoberto.
Yeah, we just saw him fight against Laura, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, yeah. About 2 weeks ago. He's a nice kid. I was with him in Toronto doing his U.S. versus Canada championships, and we spent the weekend together. What a gentleman! And he showed me that he's really a class act guy, and
absolutely,
and was telling me, you know, how about his brother, you know, how he discovered his brother. Told his brother, you know, he told his father, you know, I'm taking Canelo out to a ballpark or something. Actually, they were going to the gym. They didn't want him to fight, but his brother kept taking. His brother knew that he had the talent. Ended up taking him and turned him to be one of the great champions out of Mexico.
I love that.
Now, of course, there are going to be a lot of fans. A lot of Mexican fans will say, who's the real legend of Mexico? Is it Julio Cesar Chavez? Is it Juan Manuel Marquez? Is it Salvador Sanchez? Is it Canelo Alvarez? There's a lot of beef. And everybody says Julio Cesar Chavez is the greatest of all time.
El Gran Campeón.
Yeah. He definitely did it. But
Let me ask you something.
But Canelo Alvarez is still proving himself.
My God, yes. That's a question I have. If Canelo Alvarez beats Kovalev, then maybe beats Andre Ward, then cleans out 168, knocks out Callum Smith.
Did you say Andre Ward?
Whoever. I'm saying, let's say he goes up. I guess
you mean if Andrew Ward was to come back?
Yeah, Andre Ward. This is Muhammad Ali were to come back, and he would have beat him too. Is there anything he could do in the eyes of Mexican fans to put him above Julio Cesar Chavez? Honestly?
You know what? I've been talking to some Mexican fans, and there's something about Canelo that they don't like.
He seems kind of manufactured to them, I think. He doesn't seem as authentic because, they kind of built his career up. He has the golden boy effect. You have, people felt like he lost to Triple G, felt like he lost to Laura. I mean, you have a lot of this kind of.
I give Canelo a lot of credit for his accomplishments.
Absolutely.
He's done a lot for his young age, and he still has a long ways to go. And I think the Mexicans should stand behind, support their fighter.
They should. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I worry sometimes that you see this poor guy, and I wonder, is there anything he could do to ever surpass that? You see it in basketball sometimes.
All he got to do is keep winning, kicking some butt out there, prove to the world that he's the best out there.
And I'll tell you, fighting Kovalev's a great way to do it, man. What a step up. This guy, Kovalev's enormous.
Yeah, but, they're going to say he beats Kovalev. You know what they're going to say?
Kovalev is old, washed up, not the same Kovalev.
He was not the same Kovalev 4 or 5 years ago. But I still say what's going to happen. Canelo Alvarez is going to come in there. He's a good body puncher.
Yeah.
You saw what Andrew Ward did to Kovalev.
With his body.
With 2 shots, two losses. with body shots.
I gotta actually. Well, let's go back to the body shots real quick, because I want to point out something that I've been reading a lot about this last fight this weekend. We've said it before. We've said it after every Errol Spence fight. Errol Spence's whole thing is that he's a body puncher. He shoots about 30% to the body, which is way more than anybody else does. But when he does that, he has a tendency almost every single fight to get warned by the ref to keep the hands up. Sean Porter leads with his head. He's a very Evander Holyfield-esque in that way. He's why he's cut a lot of people with accidental headbutts. I want to first point out how lucky we are as fans that we didn't have any low blows or any accidental headbutts, because with those two styles, it's too easy to have that situation. But I guess moving forward, first of all, did you see any low blows that you would have taken a point away?
No point.
Because a lot of people say they have.
No, there were some low blows. They were kind of on the borderline. But Jack Reed did the right job of not getting involved. I mean, Jack Reed would start taking points. Then the results of the fight would have probably end up in favor of one fighter over the other, and the referee could try to stay out of that. He didn't see nothing that was really flagrant. He just saw some borderline shots.
Keep him up. That's what you say, right?
Yeah, keep the punches up. And
you tell Porter not to lead with his head. But I want to say we were really lucky that we got the fight that we got, because they could have very easily had it been an Amir Khan situation.
Yeah.
Or how many times have we seen accidental headbutts ruin great fights?
You know, when you got a fighter like Sean Porter, who's aggressive, a lot of energy, using angles, and Errol Spence Jr., who's a southpaw, when there's a southpaw and a right-handed fighter, they're more prone to collide heads.
Absolutely, especially when one leads with his head.
Yeah, and it didn't happen Saturday night. It's
pretty unbelievable.
And I think a lot has to do with the refereeing technique, keeping the fighters, clean. And what here, they also had to watch out. I think one time I caught Sean Porter got stepped on his foot by Errol Spence Jr.
Well, that's when you have southpaw versus orthodox. Happens all the time, right?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't pick up on that, but that's another thing the referee has to keep their eyes on, is watching when they get their foot stepped on.
I want to give Errol Spence some of that credit, only because when you watch a lot of those slow-mos, when they both dove in together, you saw Errol Spence move his head. Sean Porter's going in, he's diving in head first. He's a pit bull in there. Right. And Errol Spence was able to avoid that head clash over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a chess match while also being a brawl. And it was just beautiful in so many ways. Yeah. It deserved every ounce of credit it's gotten. And you're absolutely right that if we, at the end of the year, when we do our Fair Firm Awards, if we make that the fight of the year, I wouldn't be one bit surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I definitely be considered fight of the year, because this kind of fight, and we had anticipated, because of styles of fighters and because of their records, that it would probably perhaps be a candidate for fight of the year.
Yes.
And it really turned out to be
such
that way.
action. I mean, that was the best. It was the most action-packed fight at that level that I've seen since the last Triple G Canelo fight. Honestly, you had just, and even more so. Honestly,
Hello?
I think it was even more so.
Yeah. And
but no, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, I absolutely love it. I want to touch on one more thing before as we move along, because I don't want to move too far past the undercards. Joey Spencer fought on the undercard, and we were very critical after Joey Spencer's last fight. It looked like he had either taken a step back or maybe just wasn't up to the level that we thought he was at.
Right.
He looked phenomenal this week. Maybe it was against a considerably lower caliber of competition.
Right.
I don't think so. I think he got back to basics, and he looked incredible. Yeah. Speaking of back to basics, we were very critical, both of us, of Sean Porter after the Ugas fight. Not just us, but everyone. But since it's our show, we can talk about us. Yeah. Did you see him return to form in this fight?
He definitely raised the bar. He came back. He came back from his he went back. They went back to the drawing board, and they picked up that they made a mistake. In the previous fight, maybe he undertrained or maybe overtrained for Ugas.
I think he just had a bad strategy.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't figure out Ugas. Ugas is smart enough.
Ugas is a great welterweight.
Yeah, and he can punch. He got that looping right hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does you with that, you're in trouble.
When I watch those guys, when I watch Porter and Ugas, it felt kind of like when Mikey Garcia fought Errol Spence. Errol Spence decided, I don't want to just be seen as a size bully against this guy. I want to prove that I can outbox a boxer. When he fought Porter, it seemed like he said, I want to outbrawl a brawler. Yeah. Didn't it seem like Porter tried to outbox a boxer in Ugas and wasn't really up to the task?
Yeah, it didn't work out for him. Everything he tried, it didn't work. He got lucky that he kept his title belt. Had he lost that fight, he wouldn't have fought.
Very lucky, and he wouldn't have been able to have the platform he has right now.
Yeah, and his stock, even though he lost, his stocks went up. And he up there. Like I said before, Errol Spencer put some sand in his gears. I mean, he really did a number on him in the sense that not that he hurt him that bad with the excessive. They went to fight, but Errol Spence Jr. he said himself he underestimated Sean Porter's abilities and his power, how strong he was.
He's considerably more talented or more skillful than I think anybody gave him credit for.
Yeah.
But now that's another thing, because you have a remarkable insight on this because of your history with Sean Porter. Now, a lot of people talk about, they've been saying, we've watched him improve in front of our very eyes. Every fight he gets a little bit better, with the exception of the Ugas fight. You were there in training camp with him when he fought Keith Thurman, and I think another time as well. Is that correct?
I was in the corner with him working.
Is he a better fighter now than he was then?
He fought much better Saturday night than he did when he fought Keith Thurman. Had he fought Keith Thurman the way he fought Spence Saturday night, he probably would have stopped Keith Thurman.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that saying a lot.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he was so superb. I'm sure that Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman must have been watching there at the sideline and must have saying, well, you know, this guy, one hell of a fight. He's really improved a lot since he fought us.
I love it. When you said in the very beginning, you said you scored it for Porter, even with the knockdown.
Yeah.
Was this a robbery?
No, it was not a robbery. It was that kind of a fight. I'd say it was going to be a close fight for both fighters. I think Larry Hazard Jr. had it the way I had it. You know? You know, so I can't say it was a bad decision. I mean, as far as Larry Hazard was concerned, I mean, I thought that Porter did pull it out, even though he got dropped. I mean, those middle rounds, when I look at the stats, I couldn't agree. I just couldn't agree with those stats.
I get what you're saying.
Who landed the more punches? And
the CompuBox is always so hard.
I mean, it's and who threw the most punches.
How hard is it to judge a Porter fight, though? Even in slow-mo,
I mean, I saw Porter landing so much more punches. I saw more punches being thrown by Sean Porter.
He's a pressure fighter.
I mean, he's a pressure fighter. I mean, the CompuBox, they had Spencer like about Spencer by about 30% more than Porter. I didn't agree with that.
It's hard to score that. I mean, it just is, right? I mean, it's hard to tell what's a punch and what's landed, especially in real time. But I agree. You should always take that with a shaker assault.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, every time you see that punch is landed, and Fox does this with their normal cards and their pay-per-view, and it is a way for the casual fan to kind of take a watch, see who's landing more, but do not take that as a who's winning the fight. The way you score a fight is based on 4 main criteria. None of which is who landed more punches. It's just not.
It's effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, cleaner blows, and defense.
Period.
Once you have those 4 criteria in scoring the fight,
this is not basketball. It's not who scored more points.
No, and you're not playing here. This is boxing is not playing.
You don't play boxing.
No, you don't play boxing. Boxing is really you're there to hurt somebody. Basketball, baseball, hockey, all that. You're there to score points or whatnot.
Do you think it's fair to say people who focus on the scoring or focus on whether or not it was a robbery are robbing themselves of what was a phenomenal fight? Because I think it was an absolutely phenomenal fight.
No, it was a fight that people cannot complain about the outcome of the scoring.
I agree 1,000%.
I think the fans will say, you know what? How about a rematch? But of course, we got these other guys waiting on the sidelines. You know, we said before, we got Terrance Crawford, we got Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
That's in line, you know, for Earl Spence Jr.
I think a rematch would be warranted from an entertainment value, but I honestly believe that we'd get the exact same result. A phenomenally entertaining fight where Errol Spence just proves that he's a little bit, he's outclasses, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think Sean Porter will come back. He'll come back a little bit better. He'll do a little bit more than what he did this fight. This fight, he kind of held back at some punches. Some of the punches he was throwing were not landing. He was missing the target. But then again, you're fighting a southpaw who's constantly moving. Errol Spence, and he had the height too.
Yes, he's about 2 inches taller than him.
Yeah, and he had the height and the reach. So that could take a lot away from your plan.
He didn't fight in space because it's hard to fight in space when you're fighting a guy who's coming at you full speed, nonstop.
Yeah. It's like a train coming at you.
Exactly.
And you don't know if you're
like a train with punches.
Yeah, you don't know if he's coming to your left or you're in the middle of the track. You don't know. There's a split on the track. You're going to go to the left or to the right. You don't know which way to go.
He's throwing both. He's just crazy the whole time. He's a swarmer.
He's a swarmer. You're not kidding. But again, like I said.
Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, this guy,
that's how he fights.
Errol Spence Jr. really came up and surprised the whole world. Not surprised the world, a lot of fans, because he was favorite.
Yeah.
He was a 500-plus favorite.
Which is,
you know,
I told people if you're gonna bet, I said I picked Spence, but I said if you're gonna bet Porter because the value for 5-1. What are you doing? I knew a guy got plus 525.
Yeah.
Of course, take that.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you that it was a great fight, but then it was also announced this past weekend.
Yes,
great
sir.
fight coming
I was
up.
hoping.
Luis Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder. That's a definite fight for, I believe it's December, is it?
No, November 23rd.
I'm sorry, November 23rd. Yeah, and that's going to be a great fight, you know.
What do you expect in that fight? Because I hear a lot of people talking.
It's a rematch. I mean, Ortiz deserves a rematch.
My goodness, yes.
I mean, what he did to Deontay Wilder in the first fight, I remember that 7th round like if it was yesterday.
He almost put him down.
He almost had him out. Never mind putting him down. He almost had him out. You know?
He was all over the place. His head was bobbing around.
He ended up getting the win over Luis Ortiz. He stopped him by TKO in the 10th round.
With an uppercut. People forget that. He's always known for his big right hand, but he ended him on an uppercut.
Yeah. And I think that Deontay Wilder is another fighter that's learning a lot. You know, he's clean, with every fight getting better and better. But I was surprised.
Why are people mad about the matchmaking, Joe? Why are people mad about this? Because it seems to me like I think this is the best guy he could fight. He can't fight Joshua. Joshua's got to fight a rematch with Ruiz. He can't fight Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury's busy getting his face stitched back together, and he's too busy fighting the 56th ranked fighters in the world. So why would anyone be mad to watch him fight a rematch of his second toughest fight ever?
I think this fight is past due. He should have fought him like 2 fights right after he fought the first time. I think.
Well, he fought Fury right after.
Yeah, but Luis Ortiz definitely is the fighter that deserves to get the shot at the title again. He earned it with the first fight.
He's earned it with his whole career.
He really proves the world. But I don't think he got going against him. He's like 41, 42 years old.
He's on paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
On the birth certificate, maybe 5 years.
Crayon.
5 years older than that. But he still has a little spark of the old flash. He still fights pretty decent.
He's still a top 10 heavyweight.
And he's a southpaw too.
Yes.
You know.
He's a phenomenal style matchup. He's a much better technical fighter than Deontay Wilder. Then again, so's everybody, but they all end up, face first.
No question about it. We have.
Are you excited for that fight?
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I'll be looking forward to it.
I don't know why people are.
Because I want to see, but you know what? It can be a nightmare for Deontay Wilder.
Very easily. We just saw that twice.
Because if he loses to Ortiz, it's just like Anthony Joshua losing to
Ruiz.
To Andy Ruiz. I mean, this can happen.
It's just like Tyson Fury. Even if he doesn't look good, if he ends up Tyson Fury, meaning if he ends up looking bad and barely,
if he loses to Luis Ortiz, I mean, there goes Deontay Wilder's big paycheck. It's like Anthony Joshua lost a big paycheck. Now they got to kind of groom him, get him back in there. They're hoping that Joshua now.
He doesn't want his stock to go down.
Yeah, he's fighting. Well, he got a shot now to fight Andy Ruiz. They're going to fight in Saudi Arabia in December. Let's see what's going to happen there.
Absolutely.
If he ends up beating Andy Ruiz, he'd be back in the picture.
Back in the mix. He's got his 3 belts back. He's happy.
It happened to Lennox Lewis. It happened to
Lennox Lewis twice.
It happened to Floyd Patterson. It happened to Muhammad Ali. It happened to the greatest. They've lost and they've come back.
It's not how you get knocked down. It's how you get back up, right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they say. You can ask Sylvester Stallone that. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's not how you lose, how you get back up.
Exactly.
And keep going forward. And keep going forward.
Exactly. His big speech. I love that speech.
Yeah. I was in that movie, the Rocky Balboa.
I know you were in that movie,
I love
Joe.
that speech, that's something to live by,
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, man, that was just so fun. It was so entertaining. I loved that first fight between Ortiz and Wilder. It was one of the most entertaining. Let's not forget that Deontay Wilder is the most exciting, entertaining fighter on the planet. Because if you blink for 1 second, you can miss him taking Dominic Breazeale's head off or miss him getting caught like he did against Ortiz, like he has in the past. You can absolutely not take your eyes off of this wild animal for 1 second because he is an absolute brute with 2 cannons attached to his arm, one that I think is nuclear. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there is absolutely no reason to be disappointed by any prospect of him fighting a top 10 heavyweight.
Yeah, he says if the right one will get you one, the left one will. But it's more that right hand.
That right hand is the right hand of God right there.
Yeah, he got that wicked right hand. He nails you with that. He says, and there's a lot of fighters. I mean, I want to see him work more to the body. I believe you work the body, you kill the body, the head dies. And I want to see more of that body shot.
When he fought Tyson Fury the first time, he went to the body in the first 2 rounds, and then he started looking for the knockout. He got kind of nervous. He abandoned it, and we all know how that turned out. Otto Wallin got most of his success working the body early. It's how he was able to find that big left hand. Is it fair to say that if Deontay Wilder maybe gives 10% more punches to the body than he does the head, that the Fury fight becomes a lot more in his favor?
It will become more in his favor, but by him throwing the body shot, when you go to the body, you're going down.
You open yourself up.
You're opening yourself up. You go this way, you're opening yourself up.
It's not like Tyson Fury's going to KO him.
So it's not. He's so tall that
Rangy.
somebody fighters got to get underneath. They got to get underneath the guy, work the body. But if you're gonna try to work the body from out here, you lower the guard.
What if he went with some body jabs? I know that's not really his move, but if he just got him to drop those arms,
well, that's one of the things.
Open up that right
That's one of
hand.
the things the fighters are taught. You jabbing, you get down, you jab to the body, then to the jobby.
Floyd was the best at that.
And then this way they lower the guards to pair, your punch.
Absolutely.
So they go to the body, then you nail them to the head. But it's a lot of company. That's where they go back to the drawing board. They go do their homework and they watch and see what mistakes they made. What can they do to improve? So that's why we're so anxious sometimes to see, especially young fighters that are learning with every fight. They're learning and
Joey
learning.
Spencer, what we just saw here.
Yeah, Joey Spencer. Look,
Big
look
improvements.
how good he looked. And look at Sean Porter, how good he looked this cycle that he did to the Ugas fight. Yeah, he looked like, with the Ugas fight, he looked like a B-class fighter.
Absolutely.
And here he was like A+.
Exactly.
Know?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it goes to show. You go back to the drawing board, you watch it. I got to take my hat off to Kenny Porter, his father, who trained did good training techniques for his fighter for this fight, because you can see that they really
He
went
came
back.
in with the right game plan, and he played to his strengths.
Exactly. And I can say again, Jack Reed did a great job with the refereeing.
As always.
I mean, he stayed out of the picture and took control, and the fight was pretty clean, pretty accurate. No point deduction. That's good. Nobody got hurt seriously. That's the main thing. And in boxing, we tell our fighters, keep your guards up at all times, protect yourselves at all times, and remember, guys, we're fair but we're firm. We'll see you next week.
Fair but firm.
With the Hall of Fame boxing referee
I'm Joe Cortez.
for all of Las Vegas.
Come on, guys. Let's touch them up. Clean fight. I'm Joe Cortez. Fair but firm.